We are living in the digital age. We're always on the internet. And with us always being on the internet, I'm sure that we've come across many of videos where someone is saying how little they care about their haters, how little they care about the internet comments. Now, of course, should you care about what random usernames in the comment sections of your videos are saying? Of course not. But at the same time, I don't believe these individuals, because these individuals always tend to lash out when they get a single negative comment, and they have to address every single negative comment. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes some things do need to be addressed. But the fact that every time you get a negative comment, you have to react to it, I don't believe you when you say you don't care about what people think about you. Now, the second reason and the main reason I don't believe these individuals is because I don't think they would ever sacrifice their image to do what I do. You see, one of the things I've realized is there is an invisible resource that many people are not utilizing, and I call them the pocket PhDs. The pocket PhDs are the individuals that are waiting on the internet to correct you, to show how much more they know than you, to show how much knowledge they have, and they need a fight. They need you to say something wrong so they can pounce on it. But the way I look at this, kind of like how the corporate America world calls you human resources. They have a human resources department. I'm going to use these human resources. I'm going to utilize these pocket PhDs to get me the information that I need. You see? Let me give you another example of the pocket PhDs, the keyboard warriors, right? You could be talking about health, right? Exercise. Let's go with exercise first. And you can say that push-ups are the number one exercise that you need to be doing. Well, actually, it's actually squats, because squats do this and this, and pull-ups are the best ones. So actually, you're an idiot because blah, 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 blah. Okay. Let's see, we're talking about health. And let's say, you know what? Skittles are the best food that you could be eating for your health. Well, actually, Skittles are coated in the food dye, and the food dye is a petroleum byproduct, and let's not talk about the sugar that ruins your body's health. So you're an idiot for saying something like that. So with me understanding this invisible resource out here, you know, as I've been talking about recently, is like I've ventured all the way back around to Christianity. More specifically, though, Christian mysticism, looking at the Bible for the occult wisdom that lies within it, right? And I'm learning a lot of stuff. For those of you that really like my Christian mysticism videos, I'm just echoing William Donahue or Bill Donahue. Bill and Will, I don't understand how those are the same name, but nevertheless, you know, and if you want to go look at that channel so you can have a little spoiler alert, go watch those. And I just try to add my own swagger to some of his presentations. Now, when I'm sitting there watching his lectures, you know, even some of the stuff that he's saying, I may disagree with. But I do agree with like 85 to 90% of what he's saying, you know. But sometimes when I have to identify, or when I have to sit back and digest it to see if it's my truth, I sit back with it. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But I told y'all, I'm lazy. I believe in work smarter, not harder, which we're going to get to in a little bit later. I believe in work smarter, not harder. Why am I going to sit back and do all this research and read every single chapter, do every single piece of research on the names of such and such and blah, 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 when all I have to do is pretend to be the bad guy? Yes, I'm going to ruffle some feathers. Yes, I'm going to piss some people off. But from the beginning of my channel, you guys know that it's not hard to piss Christians off. It's really not. So all you have to do is speak confidently, and actually, pocket PhDs and keyboard warriors will be dragged out of their cocoons to come correct you. But the thing is, I'm not taking any personal offense to it. You're correcting me. You're giving me the information that I wanted. I'm winning. You know, because I'm having the internet do the research for me, because you got emotionally perturbed. You had to come correct me. You wanted to come fight me. And sometimes when I make my more abrasive videos, that's exactly what I'm doing. Now, shout out to, I forget your name. I'm talking off the top right now, but Big Trucker, Big something KO, something like that, where you dropped some game on me in that video. Shout out to you. We started off a little rocky because, like, you know, I'm feeding into the energy, but when I realized you just dropping knowledge, hey, you got past my facade, and now we were having a nice healthy back and forth. But there's some people that, you know, just because of anonymity and distance between who they're verbally attacking, some people were doing a little too much, and they were coming at me personally instead of the information that I was presenting, and I ain't got time for that. You see what I'm saying? I don't care. I just block you and move on, and that makes you more bothered than me. Nevertheless, you know, the reason why I do this, is it the most healthy approach? No, it's not. But like I said, it's the internet, and sometimes I have to have my little bit of fun. But in the beginning of my self-development journey, I read that book by Napoleon Hill, and I believe it was called The Law of Success. I believe that's what it was called. Correct me if I'm wrong there. But in The Law of Success, he told a story about like the guy that made the Ford Motor Company, right? Was that Henry Ford or Gerald Ford? Either way, Ford something, Ford tough, all that type of stuff. And he was talking about how Ford was not a genius. He wasn't a business genius. He wasn't an automobile genius or anything like that. He was a business mind. But what he did though is that he hired some of the best analysts, the best researchers, the whatever, to come make all of those hard decisions and summarize them in option A, B, or C. And what did he do? Ford do? All he did was pick option A, B, or C. That's all he did. Hey, go do all that work for me. Now bring me what you got. Okay, cool. Let's see. Option A, B, C. Okay, cool. Option B, make it happen. That's all he did. And he became one of the most popular automobile companies in the world. You see? So I adapted that to my own knowledge, because I'm doing so much research, and I told you, I believe in working smarter, not harder. Why not use all these people that are waiting to prove how much smarter they are and how much more they know than you, than to just have them to come correct me? You can't do that if you think that your shit don't stink. You can't do that if you can't handle a little bit of negative criticism. You can't do that if you don't like being corrected. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, I just learned to use the invisible resource that everyone else has. The pocket PhDs, the keyboard warriors, the Reddit rumblers. I just made that one up, but it worked, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like, utilize these people. Now don't get me wrong. If you're going to be the bad guy, understand, don't say nothing so crazy that if someone show that to your boss, it could end up getting you fired, all right? Like, have some tact with it. But nevertheless, I've had a lot of practice with it, and I really love doing it. It's like studying Christianity is actually really fun. I study everything. I can learn, like when it comes to my spiritual check, I can learn from religion. I can learn from spirituality, whether it just comes to just general life. I can learn from the teachers. I can learn from the professors. I can learn from the professionals. But I can also learn from a stripper. I can learn from a drug addict. I can learn from a drug dealer. I can learn from a bartender. I can learn from all these people, because everyone has a piece of the puzzle and you have to learn from it. A lot of people only want to learn from the positive sources. Well, you have to understand that I have a little bit of darkness in me. I can learn from the dark side too. I can learn from the disagreeable people. I can learn from the know-it-alls. I can learn from these Reddit people that are just waiting for waiting for that opportunity to pounce and to call you an idiot and show how much more smarter they are than you. You see what I'm saying? Play the game. Game is game. Till the next one.